Okay, so I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and decided to come out here and do something different. I put the suction hose on the exhaust port. Now, to get it to do anything, I had to put the crankshaft back in the motor, put a rod and a piston back in, and remove the exhaust valve, but close the, put a guide in with some silicone to block it. So it's sucking through the open intake port with a piston down in the hole. The interesting thing, well, obviously the piston is not top dead center. It's down quite a bit in the hole while it's getting the maximum lift. So in that configuration, the other slight problem is I accidentally spilled some of the fluid in the test manometer, or whatever the hell you call that thing. So if I turn on the vacuum cleaner, it goes from 14 to 8.2 with these Navarro heads with the high dome chambers and stuff. So I guess I'm going to go back through and do the other Edelbrock head and the Offenhauser head that I've been kind of comparing. So this is part one. Okay, part two with the Edelbrock head back on the block. Again, this is a blower head that's been decked like 20,000 supposedly. And if I set up the same way as I did the Navarro head, we'll see what kind of numbers we get. Okay. Let's see, we'll take this back off and put on the Offenhauser head. Okay, round three. Offenhauser head that I have used with a blower, but it was actually just a 0.425 head. In other words, it's not necessarily for a blower, it's just for high lift. It's been slightly modified, I think, to take larger valves and stuff like that. So it's not a huge chamber, but it is a little bit different than just a out-of-the-box head. So let's turn on the vacuum source and see what it does. Look like 15.2 and 7.1. I have to write them down and see which ones got better numbers. Okay, so the conclusion to this little series of tests is very interesting. Like I said, I hooked the vacuum cleaner up to the exhaust port with the exhaust valve removed, but a guide's in there to keep it from, sucking through the motor. So it's sucking through the chamber, through the intake, which is fully open, and the piston is where it would be when the valve is fully open. Now, doing the same thing I did before, where I, obviously if you restrict the flow, the numbers on the right side goes up and the left side goes down. This is what I got. Now this time, the numbers are reversed. The smaller numbers for the Navarro, the Edelbrock is in the middle, and the Offenhauser is higher. So I don't know what to think. I'm going to keep playing around with this. I have at least 3 blocks that I can set up the same fashion and do both tests on. Either set up this way or the way I did the first video, where I was actually sucking up through the bore, which is, if you watch the Troy Trepanier video, Jewel on the Salt, They did a little test that kind of mimics that. They're sucking through the bore, checking the flow of the intake. So I guess that's the way they decided to do it. Which one's right? I don't know.